is such and such, and I am the administrator of a private school in Jacksonville, Florida, and we've been looking for somebody to come and teach acting and speech at our high school. Would you be interested in coming to do that? And I thought, wow, I never really thought about that. It wouldn't be really a career move because I wasn't planning on teaching, but I didn't have anything lined up. So I thought, why not? So for a year, right after college, not only did I teach acting and speech, but I also, at the last minute, they needed an 11th grade English teacher. So for a year, I taught junior English and both grammar and literature, and then did speech and acting courses as well. I even helped coach the football team. And it was awesome fun. You know what? I loved being a teacher. And you said, do I miss being a teacher? I think that when you get to be my age, you have plenty of opportunities to be a teacher, if you know what I mean. You may not be in front of a classroom, but then maybe you are. You know what I mean? You get an awful lot of opportunities to share things that you've learned. Maybe dumb things that you did and you learned from something stupid you did, or you learned from a mistake, or you learned from a heartbreak or something painful. And if I have the opportunity to share that with people and maybe give them a bit of positive encouragement at a very important time in their lives, then that could kind of be considered to be a teacher as well. So in some ways, I think I still get the opportunity to teach, and I really enjoyed it a lot. When's the meeting? As soon as I propose to you. Where's your mom? The wedding is soon. How many of you met my beautiful fiancée, Michelle? She's yeah, she's kind of hot, right? Yeah, she says hello, by the way. She sends her love. She called me just like 5 minutes ago, and she's like, okay, I'm going to bed, I'm going to sleep. I'm like, wow, this is so weird. I will be talking to her when she wakes up. And I just talked to her before she went to sleep, and she'll be waking up before I even go to bed tonight. So she sends her love to you guys. Second question. Those of you that are interested in voice acting, there are only two things, really, that you need to pay attention to in voice acting. Number one, acting. I know that may sound kind of elementary and kind of obvious, but the truth is that a lot of people think that just because they may be able to imitate a cartoon character, or because they can sound like some other funny voice, or imitate a funny voice, that they should be a voice actor. But it's really not about making funny voices, you guys. It's about playing a role. It's really more about acting than it is about voice. So if you're interested in voice acting, get as much experience as you can acting. That's the most important thing. Get in school productions. Get in church programs. Get in community theater. Look for any opportunity to develop your skills as an actor. Because all of the voice actors I know are actors first and voice actors second. They've been trained, they've gone to school, they've studied, they've developed their skills in acting long before they did any voice acting. The second thing is you kind of need to be where the work is. You know, you have to be where that kind of work is done. That only happens in a handful of places. Los Angeles, Texas, Vancouver, a little bit New York City, and that's pretty much about it. So you kind of have to be where that kind of work is done. I know that may be kind of the downer part of the answer, but it is the truth. I told people last week in Sydney, if I wanted to be a country western singer, I would move to Nashville, right? You would go where that kind of work is done. So voice acting is the same. If you want to be on Broadway, want to be a musical theater star, you'd probably go to New York and try to get in musical theater there. Television, movies, voice acting, that kind of work is predominantly done in just a couple of places. So those are the two things, if you were really interested. Do I know any Australian voice actors? None. I don't. But you know what? I love the Australian accent. I gotta tell you, I love it. It's really awesome. No, I don't say good day. I made the mistake of saying that once, like last week. I was thinking I was going to like blend in, so I went into like a store, and I walked up to the counter and like put the thing on the counter that I was buying. I'm like, "Good day, Mike." And the guy looks at me like, "What the hell are you? Where are you from, Mike?" Yeah. So I've learned. Yes, don't say good day. Got it. Good on you. All right.
Question, but we also have your video and it is working.
Thank you. Awesome. Yes, my dear.
Hi.
Guy.
I noticed that you did a voice acting for Hitalia as Grace, and I was wondering what it was like doing that.
It was perverted. Grease is a pervert. And if you've seen Hitalia, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, Grease was a little perv. Well, he wasn't really a little perv. He was just weird. And all of his little, talking about the Olympic Games with the men running around naked. And then how he loves cats and the things that he thinks cats are cool because they can do. I'm not going to say it because this is a family show. But, I enjoyed Grease a lot. I wish he had more to say. He didn't have much to do. And I did audition for a couple of characters in Grease that I really, in Italia that I really wanted to play. And I came really close, but ended up playing Grease. And I like Grease. I've learned to be happy with the roles that I get. That's tough sometimes, especially when you pick one that you really want to play, and you're kind of really gunning for that role. And then you don't get to play, you're like, but, I've learned that the roles that I do get to play are awesome, fun, and I should be grateful. And so I am. Yes?
Hi, Vic.
Good ahead. Sorry. She made me do it.
I've got a two-part question. How much of a strain do you go through to voice certain characters?
A lot of strain. Those of you that asked me to say a Broly line this morning at the autograph session said, "Yell Kakarot really loud." You know that I was like, "Oh, please don't, God, no." Yeah, I'll be honest with you. There are some characters and some things that there's a lot of strain involved. And it's rough on the voice, but that's just kind of part of the job. So you do it when you have to do it, but you don't do it if you don't have to. So I don't run around yelling Kakarot in my house, you know what I mean? I don't run around, doing short rants, because I save those for when I absolutely have to do it. Yes? Uh-oh, what was the second part?
Short rant.
The short rants are equally unpleasant on the voice, if you know what I mean. But, and it's funny, people come up to the autograph table and they're like, "You're a lot shorter than I thought you were." They're like, "I see what you're doing there. I know what you're going for. I'm not falling for that." And it's really funny when they're shorter than me. I'm like, look who's talking. Look in the mirror, man. Come on. Yes, who's got the question? Yes.
I was just wondering, what's your favorite voice to do?
Favorite voice to do? Well, when he's being romantic, I love Tommy. Because it's nice and smooth and quiet, and it doesn't hurt. But you see, then Tommy freaks out, right? Then he freaks out and he goes nuts, and that's the part that I don't like as much. So, who I really enjoy doing is Fi. I love playing Fi from Tsubasa. Because he never yells. He never gets flustered, and it's a really fun and easy voice to do. Not so much yelling. Yes. Hey.
I'm nervous.
What are you looking at?
I'm not nervous. I didn't realize it'd be that loud.
You're huge. Your voice is loud. Don't turn it down. I did that on purpose. Go ahead.
Hey, I was just wondering, how did you approach Edward Elric differently
happened when I was real young. Maybe it's just because I matured a bit more. But I hated your voice.
Why'd you give this guy a microphone? Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I could never really get into the original Full Metal Alchemist because of your voice. But now I watched it again. I love you for growing. I loved you for growing.
I love you when you rip your larynx out. I love you when you're screaming like you're being run over by a truck. Well, you know what? I respect you for that. You may be one of the million that I've gotten emails from people that said they really enjoyed the first Full Metal and my work in Full Metal Alchemist. You may be one of the 3 people on planet Earth that I've heard from that really didn't like it. That's okay. Good on you. You just hold on to that opinion. It's just fine with me. Stupid. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what? In answer to your question, how did I approach it differently? I didn't. That's easy enough, right?
Yeah, that's enough.
To be honest with you, a lot of people ask me which one did I like better, the original Full Metal Alchemist or Brotherhood. And my answer is, I kind of view it as all one big, huge, Full Metal adventure. For me, it was like Brotherhood was like a chance for Ed to meet new people, to go to new places, even to wear different clothes for crying out loud, you know? To get rid of the red coat for a while and be wearing that cool duster and meeting new people. And I loved Brotherhood because to me it was like the further adventures of the Full Metal Alchemist. So I didn't approach it differently. I didn't try to do anything different except to honor the story. And as we all know, the story is a lot deeper. Brotherhood is a lot darker and a little more intense than the original. But no, that's the answer to that question.
Thank you, man. Just you know, I love the original Full Metal Alchemist.
I've heard that. I mean, even when we did the first series, people were like, "Have you read the manga?" And I said, "Well, no, I haven't." And they said, "Oh, it's great manga." So when I heard that Brotherhood was based on the manga, I thought, well, it's probably going to be really good then. Thanks, man. Thanks for the question.
And one more question. And a bit personal.
Thanks for letting the guy who did like my work in Full Metal.
You don't get it.
Yes, man.
I was wondering,
I don't know, put the mic up there.
what's the best advice someone's ever given you? And why?
The best advice someone has ever given me. Oh my gosh. I've got a lot of good advice over the years. The best advice I've ever been given. What's the best advice you've ever been given? Do you know? You have an answer for that?
Yeah.
So maybe it's not so easy a question. I have a great bit of advice I was given like 2 years back. A lot of you may not appreciate this because you're not old enough yet, but some of you will appreciate this, especially those of you that are married. I was talking to Chuck Huber. How many of you know Chuck Huber? Yu Yu Hakusho. He played Tucker in Full Metal. It's a very dear friend of mine, voice actor friend. We were talking about marriage. And we were talking about the fears that go along with it, and the uncertainty of it. And he said something to me that was such an amazing piece of wisdom. And if you are not married yet, hold on to this. And if you are married, I think you'll really appreciate this. He said to me, a lot of marriages fail because people think that the point of marriage is your happiness. That you get married to be happy. And he said, but I don't think that's true. He said, I think you get married to be sanctified. In other words, marriage forces you to live beyond yourself. The call of marriage is to live for another, right? Is to put another person ahead of yourself. if you're single, it's just you, right? You make every decision based on what you want, what you like, what you don't want to do. It's all about you. But marriage forces you to live and make decisions and judgments based on another person's life who you love and you want the best for them. So a lot of people think that you get married for the purpose of being happy. But actually, marriage is perfecting. It's something that makes you a better human being because it makes you live beyond your own selfish desires and to live with another person in mind. Probably so, yeah. So that's a good piece of advice I got recently.
Beautiful. Now, before I give you the mic, do you like his voice? Okay, she can have questions.
Now I have a call screener. Before we put you on the air, we'll make sure that you don't say anything horrible. No, it's okay. You say whatever you want, guys.
I've got two requests. One is a friend who sadly couldn't be here for some stupid reason.
What is
Is
it?
there anybody who can voice that Zero from her online?
What would you... Is this for your friend?
Yeah.
Is you recording for your friend?
Yeah.
What is your friend's name?
Her name is Bianca.
Bianca?
Bianca.
Bianca. And what is your name?
Sarah.
Sarah? Look at the camera, Sarah. Hello, Bianca. I'm here with your name is Sarah. And I'm going to bite your neck. Question. Oh, you have a second one, don't you?
And this may be a bit personal, but how did you meet your girlfriend?
How did I meet her? That's the first one all. You're going to love this. I met her at an anime convention. I kid you not. She came to one of the biggest anime conventions in the world, Anime Expo, in Los Angeles. And I was a guest there. I was their first ever American guest of honor, and it was about 6 years ago. And I was doing a panel, just like this, and I'm looking around at all the cute faces, all the different people, and suddenly I was like, hey, wow, she's cute. And she's like, not 14. Which is always a good thing. And so after the panel was over, she walked up, and we started chatting, and we chatted for 4 hours. And come to find out, she was an actress in LA, and she loved anime, and she loved voice acting, and she loved sci-fi, and all the things that I enjoy, and we really hit it off, and so you never know who you might meet this weekend, you guys. Question?
Well, I've got 2 questions. The first one is, were you happy to find out you were the voice actor of Zero?
Oh my gosh. I have the funniest story to tell you about that. I saw a lot of Vampire Night cosplayers over the last few years, and I was like, oh, and there's one right there. And I was like, oh, I want to do this show. I started hearing about it, and I thought, oh, this sounds kind of cool. I want to be in this show. I didn't even know who I wanted to play, but I knew that I wanted to be a part of it. So when the show actually got licensed by a company in Los Angeles, and they started holding auditions, I read for several characters. I read for Ido, I read for Kaname, of course, and I read for Zero. And I read for, who's the vampire hunter that, Yagami? Yes, right. I read for him as well. So then, this was probably like November. And then December came and we were on Christmas vacation. And my girl and I were at her parents' house in Colorado. And I knew that there would be a call coming any day about the results of the auditions for Vampire Night. Or maybe there wouldn't be a call at all, and that would mean that I wasn't even in it. So I was keeping my phone all on me all the time, waiting for that call. Well, one evening, I was, my girl and I were hanging out, and suddenly my phone went, and I pulled it out, it said voicemail. I'm like, wait a minute, it didn't even ring. And I looked at the voicemail, the phone number, and it was an 818 number, which is Los Angeles. And I was like, oh, how did I miss this phone number? How did I miss this call? So they left a voicemail. So I held the phone up, and I started listening to the voicemail. And it said, hi Vic, this is Eric Sherman from Bang Zoom. And I looked at Michelle and I said, here it comes. Like, you know, am I going to get to be in it at all? And Eric says, I just wanted to call you personally, Vic, because I know you really wanted to be a part of this show. And I'm so sorry. He said, I promise you that we will get to work together someday in the future. And you know, I didn't want you to be let down by not hearing from anyone, so I wanted to call you myself. And I literally was listening to the call, listening to the voicemail, looking at Michelle with tears in my eyes, and I was going, I didn't get anything. I didn't get anything. And then Eric said, we will work together someday soon, Vic. In fact, we'll be working together very soon because you'll be playing Zero and Ichiru. I was like, oh my God, I hate you so much! I was, you know what I mean? It was like, it was my best Christmas present. So that was how I ended up getting to play Zero. And I didn't even know who Ichiru was, you guys. Literally, the voicemail said, you'll be playing Zero and Ichiru. And I went, sweet, I'm playing Zero. Who is Ichiru? I didn't even know. And then when I found out he was his twin brother, I'm like, oh, that's just doubly cool. Because how fun is it to play twins that like argue with each other and fight each other and shoot each other and kill each other? Maybe you guys have brothers and twins and you do that, but I don't. So, question.
This is because one of my friends wanted to meet you so badly.
Yes.
It would be okay for you to give her a hello in Zero's voice.
Wow, there's a lot of Zero here today.
Because she's a big, very big fan.
Oh, is he shooting us for you? What's her name?
Kelly and Kate.
Kelly. Hello, Kate. How are you? I'm spending some time with Yuki, but I'd really rather be with you. Who's got a question? You guys, I want to be able to get to as many questions as possible, so let's make it one question, okay? Yes?
Honestly, I love your voice in the original format.
Thank you! I want you to beat this kid up right here.
And how did you get involved with that?
You know what? Quite honestly, I had no idea what Full Metal Alchemist was. About 8 years ago, I guess, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, Funimation asked me if I would come and audition for this show that they had just licensed called Full Metal Alchemist. I didn't even know what it was. I had just done a show called Full Metal Panic, and so I didn't know if it maybe had something to do with that. No, it doesn't. But I went up and auditioned, and actually, when I went up there, I was looking through the different characters, and I came across this little kid in a red coat, Edward Elric. Now, I didn't know anything about Full Metal Alchemist, so I didn't even know who he was. I didn't even know how many lines he had. Is he even a main character? I don't know. So I looked through the sides, and then Justin Cook, who some of you know from Yu Yu Hakusho, he was originally going to be directing Full Metal Alchemist. And he called me and he said, I want you to come up and read for this show. And so I went up there, and I said to him, he came out of the studio, and he said, have you had a chance to look at the audition, at the characters? And I said, yeah, I'd like to audition for this guy, this little kid with the red coat. And he smiled and he said, I'm glad to hear that, because we need to record a test episode. They needed to record the whole first episode as a test. And he said, I thought you might be good for him, so we're going to have you record the whole first episode. Which is very unusual, you guys. That's not typically an audition. So I recorded it, and as soon as we started recording it, you know, this is the one with Cornello, the very first episode. As soon as we started recording, I'm like, holy moly, this kid's really important. This kid's kind of like a main character. Oh my gosh. This kid's the Full Metal Alchemist in Full Metal Alchemist. And so we recorded it, and then we started the waiting game. Months and months went by, and we didn't hear anything. And I thought, I'm not going to hear that. And they kept submitting auditions to the Japanese that owned Full Metal Alchemist. And sometimes the Japanese would say, yes, we like this person for this role, or no, we'd like to hear some other people for this role. So we didn't know what was going to happen. But ultimately, they decided that they liked what I did. And so that's how I got to play the character. And it turned out to be like the greatest honor, the greatest privilege that I've ever had. I've gotten to play I've been in over 200 different series and video games. But there's never been anything quite like Full Metal. And I love that show. Thank you for the question. That's a great question. Yes?
Okay, one thing, I'm pretty sure that the Death Note comment at the start of this was inspired by me handing you a Death Note to sign.
It may have been.
Okay, I was watching some videos of YouTube, of you on YouTube the other day, and I found a particular line that I just decided I'd love to talk to you with. A particular Roy and fan service line. Something about Roy in a miniskirt. And it would be a wonderful thing to talk to you with to make you say familiar.
It's really great that you decided that, because, no, honestly, I love you, and you're adorable, and I'm going to write your name in the Death Note. You guys, I promised myself and God and everybody on the planet Earth that I would not say that line anymore. That line has got to die. It needs to die a horrible death. If I could stab that line with a samurai sword, I would. If I could transmute that line into a bowl of pudding, I would. I said it as a joke years ago, and then it just took on a life of its own. And so many people started asking me to do it, and it just got crazy. It really got crazy. And then they started asking other voice actors to say it who didn't even know what the heck it meant. So I promised all of these other voice actors that I would do my best to kill this line. And so I'm going to graciously decline to say it because I love you and I don't want to have to kill you.
Now, just letting you know, we're running low on time. Did you still want to do a video?
You're kidding me.
I'm sorry.
What? Really? What time are we supposed to be done?
Well, the next one starts at 4.
You're kidding!
Sorry.
Wow.
I apologize.
There's never enough time for these Q&A sessions. Pardon? Take me out of my grass? Did you just offer to have a roll in the grass with me? You're somebody's mom, aren't you? Your mother is pretty cool. Yeah, oh my gosh, yes. Let's see. Well, you know what, you guys? Gosh, we don't even have enough time now to show something before 4 o'clock. So, doggone it. Let's just take a couple more questions then, I guess.
Shall we do that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, I should have warned you earlier then.
I didn't realize that it was that short a session. I'm so sorry, you guys. Yes?
What was it like playing the evil emperor in that episode of Kino's Journey?
Oh my gosh, what a great character. And I even appreciate you mentioning that. Kino's Journey was a great show. Oh, he was really cool. That's a long time ago. But I love when that kind of thing happens. I love when somebody mentions some character that's much more obscure. I have people always come up to me and say, why do you only play characters that are blonde? I'm like, that's not true at all. You're just thinking of the popular ones, like Ed or Tamaki, but, or Broly, but when he's Super Saiyan. But characters like that, there are tons of those characters that are really fun to play. In fact, I would let you know that most voice actors really enjoy those kind of characters that just show up for a couple of episodes and you can really sink your teeth into them because they've got a lot of personality. They're a lot of fun to play. Thank you for asking about that. Yeah, question.
How did you get to play Tamaki?
You know what? Tamaki, Oron High School was another one of those shows that I fell in love with. And that's a bad thing to do, you guys. You don't want to fall in love with a show before it's even cast. Because then you kind of jinx yourself, you know? But Caitlin Glass told me that she had found this show that she loved and that I should try it and I should watch some of it. And she gave me a DVD that had like the first 8 episodes. And she said, "You remind me so much of this character." And it was Tamaki. And I just fell in love with him. And when I went into audition for Oron, I read for Tamaki, and I read for the twins, and I read for Kyoya. But I wanted to play Tamaki so bad. And I'm so glad that I got to. He's like, here's Ed. Ed was my favorite role that I've ever played. And then a very, very close second place is Tamaki. Yes?
Hi, thanks. How did you come to play Kaku in Bleach?
Ikuku was actually the first role that I ever got to play in Los Angeles. You guys, I was living in Texas. I was working with Funimation and ATV and doing all their shows, and I wanted to work in Los Angeles. But none of the studios would cast me in a role that was recurring because I didn't live there. They were afraid to cast me, and I would come out and I would record my character, and then I would leave, and they would find that they missed a line, or they would find that they needed a rewrite, or that a person's name needed to be pronounced differently. Any number of reasons why you would have to go back into the studio and record a line or two, which you can understand would be problematic if you just got on a plane and flew back to Texas. So Ikuku was the first character that they were willing to take a chance on in Los Angeles and let me play because Ikuku kept, he's a recurring role. He keeps coming back. So I loved him. And see, he's not blonde. He's bald. I suppose if you let his hair grow, maybe he'd be blonde. Yes?
What was your favorite scene to voice in Fullmetal Alchemist?
Oh my gosh. There are too many really, really wonderful scenes in that show, as you guys know very well. There are way too many great scenes in that show. I would say, without being able to pick one scene, I would tell you that the type of scene that I really enjoyed were the ones with Ed and Al. The real quiet scenes between the two brothers. I really, really love those. In fact, one of the first scenes that ever really got me emotional, and I actually was tearing up in the booth, in the recording booth, was the scene in like the 8th or 9th episode with Barry the Chopper. At the very end of the episode, when Ed was talking about how he really thought he was going to die, and that his life was going to end, and then he saw his brother, and he realized that they needed to look out for each other and stick up for each other, and to realize that they were not gods, but they were just humans, tiny, insignificant humans who couldn't even save a little girl. I love that. And so every time there got to be one of those scenes where Ed and Al were talking quietly, those were my favorite ones.
Hi. My question is, out of more of the minor roles that you did, like the two-inch name, which one of them did you take back most? Like, which one did you enjoy most or remember most?
Wow, again, you said it, there's so many. Gosh, there's so many that I love. That came from, that evil came from Kino's Journey is a really great one. I've played assassins and demons and all kinds of really cool characters, and I mean, love them. And you always want them to come back, but the reason they're special is because they're not around for long. There have been a lot of them. I wish I could think of one off the top of my head But the one that he mentioned in Kino's journey is really a perfect example. Hey, before I forget, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about something that I'm working on that I'm very excited about. Just the way that you guys love anime and video games, when I was your age, I had my own particular passion, but it wasn't anime. It was Star Trek. OMG, you guys. Nobody is any bigger an original series Star Trek fan than me. Nobody. In fact, I have trivia contests at conventions where people try to stump me with questions from the original series, and they don't ever stump me. I mean, I know this. I love it so much. But the reason I tell you that is because I want you to pay close attention to a new series that's going to be on the internet. It's called Star Trek Continues. It's a new web series that I am executive producing along with some other friends, and I'm going to get to realize my childhood dream of playing Captain Kirk. And I've got another voice actor playing Mr. Spock. I've got another voice actor playing Chuck Huber, playing Dr. McCoy. Who happens to know who the original Scotty, who played Scotty in the original series? James Doohan. You know who's playing Scotty in my series? His son, Chris Doohan, is playing Scotty in my series. How many of you watch Mythbusters? Grant Imahara from Mythbusters is playing Sulu in my series. We are going to be premiering the first video vignettes, little dramatic vignettes, at a convention, at a Star Trek convention in Baltimore in August called Shore Leave. As soon as we premiere those vignettes, they'll be online. Write it down if you can't remember it, www.StarTrekContinues.com. You can go there right now and look at our cast and read about our cast bios. And we are rebuilding all of the original sets at a studio in Georgia. And be looking for it. We're going to shoot our first premiere episode in October. Sing the song? What song? Sing the song.
I was actually going to ask, I was just going to ask, can we have an example of what your Kirk sounds like?
No. I tell you what you want me to do, but I can't do it. I won't do it. You've got to. You won't make me. No, I'm not going to be making fun of William Shatner. Because me and Bill Shatner are like this now, and I dare not piss Bill Shatner off. I want Bill Shatner to do a little cameo. So you have to play nice. You gotta be good to Bill if you want Bill to be good to you. So I will not be doing. I won't be doing that. Do we have time for one more question?
One last question.
One last question. Yes, my dear.
What was your most favourite part to play in Dear Angel?
Awesome. I love the Angel. That was one of the first lead roles I ever played. Dark Mousy was a long time ago. And in fact, on one of my CDs, I have the theme from The Angel. That's a great song. My greatest memories of The Angel were his interaction with Risa and Riku. I really enjoyed that a lot. And then, of course, we did a commentary on one of the DVDs. And I did a commentary with Kevin Korn, who played Daisuke. Well, the funny thing about the commentary was, I had never even met Kevin Korn. And this is something that maybe you guys don't realize, but we record alone. So you could conceivably do an entire series and never meet the people that you work with. some of you may be surprised to find out that to this day, even now, I have never met the girl who voices Trisha Elric, Edward's mom. Never met her. I mean, years we've been doing Full Metal because she comes in and does her lines and leaves. And so I've never got to meet her. But we did this commentary for The Angel, and Kevin Korn and I were set up to do the commentary. And we spent more time during the commentary kind of nerding out that we were actually getting to meet each other for the first time than even talking about the episode. Because it was so, you hear these people's voice in your ear all day long, and you feel like you know them when you've never really met them. So those are some of my favorite memories from Being an Angel. Now let me encourage you guys before I wind it up here. Come by my table and see me. Come and say hello. I haven't signed anything for you. I've got some really nice stuff. If you're interested, I'd love to autograph it for you. We've got the convention has pictures set up. I think at 4:20 today or 4:25, and come and let me give you a big hug and tell you how glad I am that you're here. And tomorrow, I believe there's another Q&A tomorrow.
There is. I don't have it in front of me just right now. Give me 2 seconds.
Is it the same time tomorrow? Okay, you guys, come back tomorrow. We'll continue, we'll pick up where we left off, and I've got some really fun videos that I want to show you. And we will make sure and watch them tomorrow, okay?
We will. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,